start. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Đọc trong từ quán.
Can you revise the two previous chapters for them?
Oh.
Few points.
Okay, thank you. Previously we talked about conventional truth, right? Conventional truth. It is the truth accepted by the people, but it doesn't really exist. So actually, I have shown some with the example from Pali Canon, right? So the word atta, actually in Sanskrit, Atman, right? So Atman, actually in Hinduism, in India, is very strong idea. So there is one type of atta or Atman that exists forever, that doesn't die, even you die. So that a type of Atman or atta move to another life. So even though you have a new body, so there is that Atman or that atta, it still survive. So until that Atman reunite with the super soul or super Atman, Mahatman, that's what they call it, Mahatma, right? So actually, even the Buddha used the word atta, right? So I give you the example, attahi atanonato. So we have to rely on ourselves. You have to rely on yourself, right? Ourself, yourself. So the Buddha used the word atta, but just for convenience sake. Actually, the Buddha is not accepting the idea of atta that exists forever, right? So actually, that is called conventional truth. So previous week we learned a lot. So to know about conventional truth, so normally we learn with the two type of conventional truth. Even conventional truth, we have two types. Number one, namapanyati. Names and terms that we are given by people and accepted them as a truth. So this country is given the name Singapore, right? That name Singapore is the truth, conventional truth. Because people accept it as a name, right? Mangala Vihara is the name given for this temple. But it is truth, right? But it is not ultimate truth. It is just conventional truth. Because we give the name just for convenience sake, right? So when we analyze the country, when we analyze the temple, when we analyze a person, so there's no such a thing, right? Just name. Names are conventional truths. So any name, any terms that we are given by people, so that is conventional truth, right? So we have to use the Buddha himself use names and many names and terms, right? Many names and terms. So even when the Buddha used the word, he carefully selected the terms, right? The terms. Normally, the Buddha do not use the word vijnana for the mind. But sometimes he have to use it Chakku Vijnana, right? Vijnana. But when you see Satipatthana Sutta, you will know that. So in that Sutta, the Buddha used the word Citta, right? Citta. Doesn't use the word Vijnana. Because Vijnana is Eintin. Vijnana is a widely used by the people at the time. And in a sense that Vijnana is look like a atta or atman. Because in one of the Sutta, so we can find that a monk called Sati, and he said that this Vijnana went from one life to another. This Vijnana, he used the word Vijnana. This Vijnana, actually, there are many monks trying to convince him this is a wrong view. So the Buddha do not tell like this. It is just like his soul, right? Everlasting. So actually, he keep on talking. He couldn't, give back that idea. So therefore, the Buddha, actually, let's read and talk about, right? So the Buddha taught to him, the Buddha clarified, what do you mean by Vijnana? And he said that the Vijnana, that feel, whatever we do, that experience, the feeling. So actually the Buddha said that is wrong view. But there is no such a thing as a Vijnana, wherever you call it. Actually we will come back later, right? Wherever you call it. So everything, mind, mental factor, matter, Nibbana, that's all, right? Arises and passing away, arises and passing away like this. So here, to talk about conventional truth, we have two. So all the names and terms are conventional truth. So actually, we are not talking to reject, not to talk conventional truth, but we have to use it, right? Even the word Citta, even the word Cettasika, even the word Nibbana, it is conventional truth. We are just using the names, right? Just using the names. So therefore, in Panyati text, one of the Abhidhamma texts, give separate type of conventional truths. So among them is Khanda Panyati, Satcha Panyati, Dhatu Panyati, like this. Even the word Khanda, even the word Satcha, so all these are conventional truths. So we cannot avoid to use conventional truths, right? So all the names and terms, even the word Nibbana, it is the word Nibbana, the name Nibbana, right? It is conventional truth. So another one is Atta Panyati, a concept or an image in our mind. So when we hear the names, so when you hear Mangala Vihara, the name, right? You may have your concept in your mind. You may have your image in your mind. That's also conventional truth. That doesn't exist, right? So when you hear the name of a person, you will have a concept in your mind, a mental image in your mind, what kind of person he is. Suppose when you hear Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, right? You may have your concept. Actually, we have different concept about that person. Some people like him, some people do not like him. Right? So I have encountered many times people, especially the taxi driver, who do not like even Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, right? He doesn't. Some of them they do not like. So anyway, so when we hear a person, the name of a person, we have concept. If we have a mental image in our mind, that also conventional truth. So when we talk about conventional truth, I think you have to take note this one. Not only names and terms, but also mental image in our mind. So when you hear the name of your father, the name of your mother. You have, image. Even when you're very young, you have taken that image in your mind, right? Actually, the name may be the same, right? The name may be the same. That when you hear the name of your father and mother, you have mental image. So therefore, conventional truths may cause a lot of problem. So therefore, the Buddha always trying to say that we have to understand, we have to try to see the ultimate realities that really exist, right? Today we will learn ultimate realities. In Anatalakkhana Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya, chapter 22, Sutta number 59. And the Buddha introduced in Nunso theory. Sometimes some people may translate as a not self. Some people translate non-self. Some people no self. It's okay, wherever you as long as it conveys that is not self, it's okay, right? So you will find so many translations about the word anatta, right? Anatta. So that, as you know, a group of 5 monks, they hear the first sermon. The first sermon is the 4 noble truths, right? Then after that, they became Sotapanna. Sotapanna means the one who believes the nature of nature. Everything arises and passes away. He realizes, and in that way, he has a very strong faith to the Buddha. So in that way, the Buddha introduced non-self theory. So in that sutta, the Buddha said that none that these 5 aggregates are atta. Rupa, material form, is not self. Perception is not self. Feeling is not self. Mental formation is not self. And vijnana, consciousness, is not self. Actually, the Buddha introduced Nunso theory in that sutta. Here, is a solid entity that internally and permanently exists. Actually, as long as you do not become Sotapanna, it's very hard to believe this theory. In our mind, we have so many conventional truths. I concept. There is I, right? There is my father. But in your mind, we have a conventional truth, a mental image, which we are taken when we are very young, right? So therefore, Anatalakkhana Sutta try to clarify Nunso theory. So the Buddha explained one by one. Material form arises and passes away, right? Arises and passes away, impermanent. So therefore, non-self. You cannot say your material form, I want to be like this, I want to be like this, right? In that sutta, so we can learn that 5 aggregate are ultimate truth. 5 aggregate are ultimate truth because they really exist. The form, the matter really exist, right? The mind, feeling, perception, mental formation, consciousness, they really exist. But in that sutta, the Buddha didn't talk about the Nibbana, right? Nibbana. So in that sutta, according to this sutta, we have 5 types of ultimate truth, right? They really exist. But based on those ultimate truths, we form conventional truth. That is my body, this is body, right? So in that sutta, we can learn that we have 5 types of ultimate truth. Another one, Satipatthana Sutta, is very famous one. So these suttas are very famous in Buddhism. So without understanding Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, without understanding Satipatthana Sutta, you are not a good Buddhist. I would say that. So these are very higher, these are the real teachings of the Buddha. Dana you can find in any other religion as well, right? Sila, morality, not only religions. Singapore has their own moralities, their own sila. You don't do that, you have to do that. These are sila, right? Even without religions, so you can find sila and also dana, right? So samadhi and panya that we can find in Satipatthana Sutta and Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, etc. So these are real teachings of the Buddha, right? So I know we must understand that. The aim of Satipatthana Sutta. So I will use it, Satipatthana meditation. So as you know, we have two types of meditation, Samatha and Vipassana. Actually, Satipatthana Sutta mentions both methods, right? So Satipatthana meditation, the aim of Satipatthana meditation is to see non-self, anatta. That's aim, right? So you are meditating. The aim is to see anatta. So you are learning Abhidhamma. The final aim is to see anatta. Actually, it's too high, but we will at the same time. So we will also learn to know about good and bad deed, right? Actually, it's too high. I'm explaining the higher level, right? Higher level. Actually, if you can, so the final aim of learning Abhidhamma should be to see anatta, right? Anatta. There is no permanent entity called self. Sometimes we call it self. Sometimes we call it soul. Sometimes we call it Atman. Sometimes you call it Vijnana. Wherever you call it. Even you use the word Nibbana to understand about permanent entity, right? So that can be also called self, the idea of self. So wherever you call it. So in realities, there are only the body, feeling, mind, and phenomena. There's only four. There's only four in reality. So in that sutta. So if you learn that, you will understand that. So according to this sutta, so these four are ultimate realities. The body means this, not only this one, but also things that are connected with the body. So these are called body. And the feeling, mind and phenomena. So according to this sutta, so actually Nibbana is included in the phenomena. So in that sutta we can find four types of ultimate realities, but different from Abhidhamma theory, right? Abhidhamma theory. So actually I'm trying to compare with the sutta and Abhidhamma, but at the end they are the same. Just name, right? Just the names. They are the same. So here we have a body, feeling and mind phenomena, right? So if we see the body, feeling, mind, phenomena as anatta. So when we talk about Nibbana also anatta. Because in Nibbana there's no such a thing called soul, right? Soul. So here, if we see the body, feeling, mind and phenomena as anatta, so you will no longer cling to them. So that is the aim of Satipatthana Sutta. So the aim is to uproot our craving. So if you really know the nature of anatta, then you no longer cling to them. So therefore, meditation means to uproot our craving, right? So that is called anatta. So therefore, in Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, the Buddha said that, so after talking this discourse, all the 5 monks, they became arahant. So the way the Sutta described how they became arahant, this line. While this discourse was being spoken, the mind thought, the bhikkhu thought the group of 5 were liberated from the taints by non-clinging. So their mind are not clinging to anything. So in this way, their minds were liberated from the taints, from the cravings, different type of cravings. So that's how they became arahant. Actually, the way somebody became arahant is nothing but liberated their mind, liberated from all type of negative emotions. So when you see something, if you are arahant, so when you see something, no craving, no anger, your mind is liberated from those negative emotions. That's the nature of arahant, right? When you hear, then if you do not have anger or hatred or irritation or craving in your mind, so you are likely to be arahant. Yeah, the nature of arahant, you know. Actually, I think it's very important to understand. Normally, when we talk about arahant, you know, we see the person who has psychic power, right? Supernatural power. You may think like this. But arahant are not such a person. Arahant means wherever you see, wherever you hear, wherever you eat, no hatred, no irritation, no negative emotions. Right? So therefore, the Sutta mentioned very clearly it is the nature of arahant. Right? Okay? So what I want to say is, if you see anatta at the end, you can become arahant. Right? Now we are going to learn anatta that mentioned Abhidhamma. Paramattha Satcha is the absolute truths that do not change from their respective intrinsic natures by the time, the place, and the passing. As you know, we are going to learn 4 types of ultimate realities. So we also learn the characteristics of those ultimate realities. So those ultimate realities, so their nature doesn't change any time. So it doesn't change, it occurred to me, or it occurred to you, or it occurred to anyone in the world. The same, it doesn't change. So therefore, absolute truth, right? Doesn't change. They do not change from their respective natures. So it really exists at all time. So therefore, they are called the ultimate truth. The truth phenomena that really exist. Conventional truth does not exist. The name just for convenience sake, right? Concept in your mind, a mental image in your mind. So these are just convenient truth, right? And Sutta and Abhidhamma, commentary trying to differentiate Sutta Pitaka and Abhidhamma Pitaka by giving respective names. Actually, just from commentary, right? It's just from commentary. Sutta Pitaka is called Vahara Desana. Vahara means the name, Desana means teachings. Because it uses conventional terms and names such as I, you, man, women, Sariputta, Moggallana, Ananda, etc. All these are the names, you know. Even the Buddha, he used the Tathagata, the word Tathagata. It is conventional truth. It does not really exist, right? So therefore, the commentary said that Sutta Pitaka is Vahara Desana because we can find so many names, right? So many names. Abhidhamma Pitaka is called Paramattha Desana because it analyzes the ultimate truth. Actually, it is not 100% correct, but generally it is correct. So therefore, the commentator trying to analyze, trying to differentiate two Pitaka by giving different names. So as you know, in Sutta Pitaka, we can find so many names. In Abhidhamma, no names. But of course, in Abhidhamma, the name itself is conventional truth, but it analyzes, it teaches ultimate truth, right? It talks about mind, mental factor, and material form, and Anapana, right? So this is how the commentator differentiate between these two Tipitaka. Any question up to now? Okay, if no question, let's go. Four ultimate truth according to Abhidhamma. Number one, Citta, consciousness. Number two, Cetasika, mental factors or mental functions. Rupakathin, he used the word mental function, it's beautiful. How the mind functions, right? And number three, Rupa, matter, material phenomena. Number four, Nirvana. So look at when you learn about Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, right? But you can find three types of ultimate realities. Five khandha, right? Nibbana is not included in the khandha aggregate. But in Satipatthana Sutta, you can find, of course, it's a Satipatthana Sutta also talk about three types of ultimate realities. But I would say that Abhidhamma introduced four types of ultimate realities, including Nibbana. So what is Citta? Consciousness. The characteristics of Citta is the awareness of the objects. Actually, the word Citta is come from Cinteti, to know something. Actually, it's very important. Vijnana also knowing. We mean variety of ways. Knowing variety of ways. So I think that the Buddha intentionally used the word Citta to avoid controversial issues. The Buddha intentionally avoid the word Vijnana. As you know, at the time, as I said, the Sutta, right? So the word Vijnana sometimes indicate Atman Siveri, right? So therefore, the Buddha used the word Citta. Citta means knowing something. The characteristic of Citta is awareness of the objects. It's not like a wisdom. Wisdom is Cetasika or mental factor according to Abhidhamma. But Citta means just aware of the object, right? Suppose you see somebody with your eye. So you aware somebody is standing or somebody is coming, right? Just aware. It is called Chakku Vijnana, eye consciousness. You hear the sound, right, with your ear. Then there is awareness. So that is called ear consciousness. just aware the song, just aware the somebody. Actually, you by that time, according to Abhidhamma, you does not know yet. You does not know yet, right? You do not know yet. So therefore, the characteristics of Citta is awareness of the object. Abhidhamma makes a special analysis on our experience. So we have, when we see somebody and we have our experience, we feel it, the good or bad mood, right? Sometimes when we see a very, very close friend, we're very happy, right? So to talk about our experience. So that awareness is very important. Even though sometimes somebody is shouting outside, but we do not know, right? We got no awareness, no Citta. So without Citta, you do not know anything. You are sleeping, right? Somebody is shouting, you do not hear, right? We got no awareness. So therefore, awareness. Actually, awareness here is not like a sati. Different from sati. Sati is mental factor, right? So I will come to that later. So therefore, we have different type of experiences, just like a feeling, perception, volition, desire, hatred, compassion. So all these are our experience. So consciousness or awareness of the object is a principal element in our experience. As I said, even though you are looking at somebody, you do not see, right? You do not see because you do not have consciousness or awareness. So therefore, without consciousness, you cannot hear, right? You cannot hear. You cannot see. So therefore, consciousness is very important. So we have 89 kinds of Cittas. So we will learn all the deities. So in Dhammapara, the first verse, the Buddha said that all mental phenomena have mind. Here, the Buddha used the word mana, mano, right? At their forerunner, they have mind as their chief and they are mind-made. Mental phenomena. So mental phenomena means mental factors. So we have like and dislike, right? Anger and compassion. So all these, their leader is, their forerunner is consciousness. Here we use the mind. It's consciousness, Citta, right? Citta. So if one speaks and acts with an evil mind, dukkha, suffering follows him. Just as the wheel follows the hoofprints of the ox that draw the cart. So that means, so wherever you do, mind is very important. Sometimes you may kill some insect unintentionally, right? Without intention. So by this time, kind consciousness, you do not aware, right? You do not aware. So therefore, it does not have a karmic process. Let's talk about mental factor. Second, ultimate realities. Actually, that consciousness is ultimate realities. So when you see something, you awareness, the nature of awareness. So that is ultimate realities. When you hear something, you aware the sound, right? So that awareness really exists, right? Really exists. So therefore, it is ultimate realities. So mental factor is called Cettasika. Cettasika are the mental factor or mental functions that influence the Citta. So therefore, Citta is compared with the water. As you know, the water doesn't have any color. So when you put the red color, the water became red. So when you put blue color, it became blue. So like that, the consciousness doesn't have a color. You just aware. You just aware the sound. You just aware the object. That's all. But mental factor, they differentiate the color of consciousness. So therefore, Cettasikas are colors which determine the color of water. So we have 52 type of Cettasika. So in the second chapter, so all these ones will be analyzed in detail. But of course, Abhidhamma Sangha mentioned briefly. So we have to learn those 52 Cettasika based on the Abhidhamma text, based on commentaries, and based on the suttas, right? So actually, second chapter will be analyzed Cettasika, and the first chapter will be analyzed consciousness, right? Consciousness. So example, anger, dosa, loving kindness are dosa. All these are mental factor, mental functions. So when we have anger, our consciousness became very hot. So when we have compassion and love, our consciousness, our mind became very cool, right? Very cool. The same consciousness, but the mental factor determine the nature of our mind. So therefore, the consciousness, mental factors are very important, just like a color of the mind, right? Color of the mind. So these Cettasikas differentiate the outcome of Citta. So therefore, in one sutta, the Buddha said that the consciousness is pure. The definements, how to say, make those consciousness dirty. Actually, it's not literal translation. The translation is, we have a consciousness, right? Consciousness. Then we have defilements in our mind, like a dosa, right? Like a lobha. So all these mental factor defines our consciousness. So therefore, the consciousness is just like a water. So when you put negative emotions, so our citta became akusala. So when we put positive emotion, just like loving kindness, so we have kusala, right? Wholesome and wholesome. So that is a Cettasika. Cognitive process. Actually, to learn about mind and mental factor, I think this is a good example. This is a good example. Depending on the eye and forms, eye consciousness arises. So we have form to see, right? Something to see. We have eye. Because of that, we have eye consciousness. But if you do not aware, of course, there's no eye consciousness, right? But only you have awareness or citta. Eye consciousness arises. Actually here, the eye and forms are material form, rupa, right? Rupa. That's not the mind. But here, based on these two, based on the material form, we have eye consciousness arises. The meeting of the three is called contact. The eye, form, and eye consciousness. Because of these three, meeting of these three is called contact. Actually, the contact is mental contact, right? Mental contact. That is mental factor. That is Cettasika. With the context as condition, there is feeling. We have a good or bad feeling. With the feeling as condition, there is craving. We crave for it, right? We crave for it. So that's how the mind's mental factor arises. We have eye consciousness, that is the mind, or that is a Citta. The contact, feeling, craving, they are mental factors or mental functions, right? Mental functions. So that is the difference between Citta and Cetasika. So when you look at this cognitive process, you might think that unconsciousness comes first. Later, contact, feeling, craving arises. You may think like this. But according to Abhidhamma, it's not so. They arises together at the same time. They cease together. But the Buddha actually Abhidhamma said that the Buddha, the Abhidhamma trying to clarify. Just the Buddha gave the use, the names, just to clarify the mind process, right? Mind process. According to Abhidhamma, so when we learn about characteristics of Cetasika, it is quite clear that they are the same, not different. So, if there is no awareness of the object, there is no contact with the object. So as you know, as I say, no awareness, even though you see some form, if there is no awareness, no contact. If there is no contact, no feeling. So therefore, awareness is very important to arise mental factor, right? So all these contact, feeling, perception are Cetasika. So even though Citta is forerunner or the leader of mental factors, both Citta and Cetasika arise together. I and something to see, right? The I consciousness arises, Citta arises. But at the same time, the contact, feeling, craving arises. At the same time, contact arises. So therefore, they arise together. And they cease together at the same time, right? Arise together, they cease together. That means we are talking about unconsciousness and contact, right? Unconsciousness and contact. And have the same object. If the consciousness take the material form, the contact, mental factor also take material form. So when the consciousness take the sound, the contact also take the sound. So they have the same object and they have the same base. So if the consciousness arises at the ear, the mental factor also arises at the ear. The same base, right? The same object. So I think when we learn about all these four characteristics of Cetasika, it is quite clear that the Citta, consciousness, and Cetasika, mental factor, are not different. They are the same. Right? They are the same. So to clarify the nature of Citta divided two, right? Actually, Abhidhamma trying to analyze the nature of Citta. So therefore, they use two, the mind is divided into two, Citta and Cetasika. So even though you're talking about Cetasika, talking about Citta. Understand? Just divided into two names, but they are the same, right? The same. So when you're talking about anger, it's talking about mind. When you're talking about consciousness, eye or ear consciousness or anything, it's talking about mind, right? So here, the mind is divided into two, Citta and Cetasika, right? I think we have to understand that. Normally, when you read the suttas, and you will just find mental factors most of the time, right? Lobha, dosa, moha. All these are mental factors, mental function, right? So what we have to understand is, even though we have two names, Citta and Cettasika, so by looking at the characteristics of Cettasika, it is quite clear that Citta and Cettasika are talking about the mind, right? Talking about the mind. Okay? The next one is matter, rupa. Actually, in Satipatthana Sutta, you will find it body, right? Kaya, the same. In the five aggregate, you will find it rupa, the same, right? Rupa. So the nature of rupa. The rupa literally means transformation or changing. Rupa, in Pali, ropati, it change. It transforms, right? Rupa always changes its form when it encounters adverse physical conditions such as heat and cold. So when you're walking under the sun, your body changes very quickly, right? So when you enter the temple, when you enter under the shade of the tree, it's cold, right? Your body change. When you're angry, your body change very quickly. So you can see a lot of changes in our body, right? So therefore, material form as named as a rupa. Rupa. Actually, our mind also changing all the time, right? We always say impermanent. Also, we can name our mind as a rupa, right? The mind also changing. Why the rupa? But the rupa is quite visible. The changes of our body, the changes of material form is quite visible, right? Of course, when you see the iron house, it is not quite clear, right? But over time, a lot of changes. But the temple here, it was built about 40 years ago, right? We can see now a lot of changes, especially our body, a lot of changes. Of course, when you meditate, then you will be able to see changes happening in your body, right? Even with the microscope, you can see the changes, a lot of changes in the body. So therefore, it is called rupa. Rupa means changing all the time. So when it meets with the heat and cold, etc., right? So its characteristic is transforming. So that the nature of change, or transformation doesn't change from its nature. So therefore, it is called ultimate realities. The form, material form really exists. Material form really exists, right? But it doesn't change from its perspective, or how to say, its characteristics. So therefore, it is called ultimate truth. So the nature of Citta is awareness. So the Citta or consciousness doesn't change from that characteristics. So the nature of Cettasika is mental function, right? Mental function. It doesn't change from their perspective. Like a feeling, experience, the object. So it doesn't change. It doesn't change from that nature. Therefore, it is called ultimate realities. Rupa, the nature of rupa, material form, is changing. The changing. So the rupa doesn't change from that characteristics. So therefore, it is called ultimate truth. It really exists, right? It really exists. The last one, Nibbana. Actually, Nibbana where we land at the 6th chapter, chapter 6. Actually, in Abhidhamma Sangaha, Nibbana is mentioned very briefly, because we don't have so many things to talk about Nibbana. So therefore, it mentions only one page, very, how to say, but we can find the description of Nibbana in the first sermon. The Buddha said that now this bhikkhus is the noble truth or cessation of suffering. Talking about Nibbana, right? Nibbana. But in the first sermon, Nibbana is described as a cessation of suffering. Cessation of suffering. It is the complete cessation of that very craving. If you try to stop craving, you can stop suffering. Suffering here means mental suffering, not physical one. But of course, you will still have physical suffering, just like Arahant, the Buddha, right? But it's talking about mental suffering. So people are rich, and people have, most of the people in Singapore, they are rich. They have the food, they have the place to stay, right? Everything they have, but they are still suffering mentally, right? Mentally. The reason is we have craving, right? Craving. Of course, poor people, they need food, they need clothing, right? Physical suffering. But you all have these basic necessary, right? But still have suffering. Therefore, mental suffering is very important, right? Mental suffering is very important. So here, Nibbana means the complete cessation of craving. So if you do not have craving, then you can stop your suffering, mental suffering, right? I would say that mental suffering. So that is a very clear definition of Nibbana. So if you understand this one, so for that you need to understand about craving, right? Today I think I will try to clarify the meaning of craving to understand about Nibbana, right? So if you understand craving, you understand Nibbana, right? So I think this is just like a how do you say the coin, two sides of the coin, the same coin, right? Two sides of the same coin. So if you understand craving, so Nibbana is the cessation of craving. That's Nibbana, right? Actually, it's talking about Nibbana from negative perspective. And we also have the positive perspective. So for now, we will based on the first sermon, we will talk about Nibbana, the complete cessation of that very craving, giving it up and renouncing it, liberation from it, and detaching oneself from craving. So that is Nibbana, right? So we have to be realized. We have to realize Nibbana. So that is what the first sermon, the Buddha teach in the first sermon, or Nibbana. So therefore, Abhidhamma Sangaha and some other commentaries, many commentaries, define the word Nibbana in this way: a departure from craving. Nirvana. Vana means craving. Ni means no, negative. A departure from craving. So if you departure from craving, that means Nibbana, right? So I think this is also a very good definition of Nibbana. It is in accordance with the first sermon, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, right? Nibbana. Therefore, we have three types of craving. So I explain a little bit about treatable craving, right? To understand about Nibbana. Because as far as I discuss with the many bodies, I will say, as far as I discuss with them, so what they understand about Nibbana is somewhere to go, right? Many people think that you have to go Nibbana, right? Nibbana. It's not so. You cannot go to Nibbana, right? You cannot go to Nibbana. And the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is clearly said that you have to realize, right? You have to realize. So if you do not have craving, that's Nibbana. That's Nibbana. Very quite clear, right? Quite clear. You cannot go to Nibbana. If you actually even within Buddhism, we have distortion, right? Distortion, misunderstanding about Nibbana. So therefore, if you understand three types of craving, you understand Nibbana, right? Number one, craving for sense pleasure. Sense pleasures. Normally our mind, so when we hear the good things, we want to enjoy, right? We want to enjoy with our senses. And we want to hear pleasant things, right? Pleasant songs. We want to see pleasant movie. We want to eat a good food, right? So that is called craving for sense pleasures. So here we have a different level. So when we learn about lobha, I will explain the different level of our craving, right? So for now, I think a basic understanding about Kammatana is craving for sense pleasures. Some people, they drink a lot, right? They drink a lot. Attachment or craving. So if they drink a lot, they will die, sooner or later, right? They will die sooner or later. Because of craving, right? Because of craving. So if you do not have craving, it is Nibbana. It's Nibbana. So you have to realize with your mind. Nibbana is not somewhere to go, right? Not somewhere to go. Then second one, craving for existence, pavattana. You want to, actually existence means not only the realm, not only the place, it also existence of your, how can I say, I will give you one example. Existence. Suppose you have a craving, existence in one place, and existence in your office, right? So if you have craving, if you have too much craving, it will give you depression and fear, right? Fear. Some people are fear of losing their job, right? Because of this one. The craving for existence. And very subtle, right? Very subtle. So you, in your job, you don't want to lose your job, right? You don't want to lose your job. But it's stay okay. It's stay okay. But you try your best. But if you do not try your best, but you have too much craving or too much attachment, that existence or that possession, right? Then fear coming, suffering coming because of that craving, right? Then I will give you another example. Number two, craving for non-existence. You don't want somebody in your company. You want non-existence of that person. That's also craving, right? Craving. You crave for it. There's also suffering. So therefore, suffering is the cause. Sorry, craving is the cause of suffering. So the first one, because of lobha. Because we have a sense pleasure, lobha. Craving for existence, because of lobha, greed. Number 3, craving for non-existence, because of dosa. You don't like, right? Suppose you don't like this existence. You don't want to die. You want to die, right? And you commit suicide. This is also craving for non-existence. You don't want existence in this life. You don't want existence in this country. And you want to move, right? That's also craving for non-existence. You don't want to stay in your family. You want to go away. This is also non-existence, right? It's very subtle one. So if you do not have those craving, your mind is at peace. Your mind is at peace. So therefore, when we explain about Anapana, this is a negative way of explanation, right? So if you do not have craving, of course it is a craving. Everybody have craving. I have craving, you have craving, but different level, right? Different level. Some people have too much craving, right? Too much craving, especially how to say, the military government, right? They have too much craving for power, right? They don't want to give back, but they try all the way, right? Not to lose their power. They will kill people, and they will kill. They don't care the economy of the country, right? Because of craving, but they are not happy. Actually, they are not happy, right? So therefore, the craving, if we do not have craving, so that is Anapana. That is a negative way of explanation. Then I think I like the way one of the monks explained about the nature of craving. Bande Vimlaransi. So the way he explained the nature of craving. I like that person. I like it. That's lobha. I like it, right? I like it. It's a very subtle one. I don't like that person because of dosa, right? Because of dosa. And he said that if there is craving in our mind, there is tension in our mind and in our body. There is a tightness in our mind and in our body, right? Then we like that person. We don't like that person, dosa, the craving. So we don't like. That's talking about craving for non-existence, right? I don't want that person. I don't want to see. That's all the craving, right? Craving. Here, I like it. That's lobha. But of course, I like it. Different degree of lobha, right? So as long as you do not become anagami, even arahant, sorry, not anagami, arahant, you will still have it, right? Actually, we are talking different level of craving. So I always say that when we look at from from below, some of the craving are good, right? Craving for, craving for the country is good. It's good, right? I am this and I am that are the nature of craving. Suppose I am beautiful I am beautiful. Based on I'm concept, right? I'm concept. So because of that, you have pride. You have mana. I am ugly. I am ugly. That's also craving. Because of that, you have depression, right? I am successful, right? Actually, if you are based on, if you based on craving, I like it, I don't like it. I am this, I am this. So all these are the nature of craving. Actually, very subtle one, very subtle one. So if you do not have that, if you do not have craving, that's Nibbana. This is explaining the nature of Nibbana from negative perspective. Actually, when we read the sutras, so we want one word, Nibbati. Nibbati. Actually, is it the closest term I did. This is the closest term to explain about Nibbana. In the Pali Canon, we find the word Nibbati. Nibbati. So that means to be extinguished. To be extinguished. It does signify the extinguishing of the worldly fire of greed, hatred, and delusion. So in that way, you try to put off or you try to extinguish fire. Normally, we do not notice. Craving is just like a fire. We do not notice. But just take a very clear example. So when you're angry, very hot, right? Very hot in your mind. How about when you do not have anger? What happens? Very cool, right? Very cool. So Nibbana is devoid of those fires. So if you do not have those fires, if these fires are extinguished, that's Nibbana. Very cool. So therefore, I always give one example, a very clear example. Before you come to this room, the room is very hot, right? But later, we switch on aircon, right? We switch on aircon. The air, very cool air coming, right? The room became very pleasant to stay. But we switch off right now. You stay here. We switch off all the aircon. What will happen? Very hot, right? Very hot. So for that, we switch on aircon again. Very cool, right? Nibbana is that way. So we explain the nature of hot, right? Hot weather. That's craving. We are explaining the nature of Nibbana, giving negative perspective, right? Very cool. This room is very cool because of aircon. That is the nature of Nibbana. A very coolness and very blissful experience. So Nibbana doesn't change from that real characteristics. So therefore, it is called ultimate realities, ultimate truth. Nibbana is very cool. So for those who attain Nibbana, their mind is always calm, not like us, right? So wherever you see, you hear, your mind is all the time stable. So therefore, we have one story, right? And when Brahmin, he came in, some of his brother became a Buddhist monk under the Buddha. He is very angry. Actually, they are from Brahmin family. So they are the leader of Brahmanism. And all his brother became Buddhist monk. very angry. And he go to the Buddha and he used a lot of strong epithet, shouting and criticizing. The Buddha just listened very calmly. Actually, the mind of the Buddha is not shaken by that person. Whatever he says is very calm. Just listen. Then after that, the Buddha said, the Brahmin, I'm not taking what you said. I will give you an example. So, you prepare many food and send for the visitors. The visitor come to your house. They are not eating your food. What will happen for those food? I can eat it. So those food are for me. So if the visitor do not eat, I can eat them. Just like that, I'm not taking your anger. I'm not taking your, my mind is not affected. I'm not taking your angry words, right? Angry words. So what I want to say is, normally when somebody criticizes, we feel very angry, right? When somebody is shouting angrily, here, very hot, because we have craving, right? Craving. We have a lot of, we stick to conventional truth, right? Conventional truth. We do not see ultimate realities. Therefore, we are angry and we have a craving. For that, our mind is very hot, right? Very hot. Actually, we have been encountering, those incidences. When something is happening in our life, angry at once, right? Angry at once. The nature of craving. If there is no craving, then our mind is very cool. Outside incidences cannot happen, cannot, affect that in our mind, right? So in this way, we will have a stable life, right? Of course, removing greed, hatred, delusion is not easy one. But we have to try to reduce minimum level, right? But if you are able, trying to, eradicate those negative fires. So if there is no those fires, greed, hatred, and delusion, this is according to, actually, I will not say according to Abhidhamma. So many sutta also mention like this. One time, one of the monks asked to Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Sariputta, many people said Nibbana. What is Nibbana? And he said that if you do not have greed, hatred, and delusion, that's Nibbana. Very clear sutta. So you can get it in Samdha Nikaya. Nibbana means if you do not have greed, hatred, and delusion, that's Nibbana, right? Very quite clear. But in that sense, so Nibbana is Nibbadi. Nibbadi means extinguish all the fire in your mind. So if there is no fire, your mind is peace, right? Your mind is tranquil and cool. So that coolness is Nibbana. So Nibbana doesn't change from that characteristics. So therefore, it is called ultimate realities. Importance of ultimate reality. Of course, it's very important. So therefore, in many suttas, so understanding the nature of ultimate reality is called Yatha Buddha Jnana Darsana. The knowledge and vision of things as they really are. I think you have heard of many times. Trying to understand things as they really are, in their true natures. In many suttas, you understand about Citta, about mental factor, about material phenomena, about Nibbana. Try to understand. But regarding with this one, Buddha Nyanadasnami talking about Citta, Cittasika and Rupa, not Nibbana. Right? So if you understand, if you have this knowledge and vision, what happens? I'll give you an example. When we hear the name of someone we hate, ill will naturally arises, right? So when you are very young, you quarrel with somebody, right? You don't like that person. But you still remember, right? You still remember those persons. It is called sanyojana. You cannot forget those persons, right? I also cannot forget. Yeah, when we hear the name of that person, automatically, our mind, right? Automatically, an ill will and hatred come in. Because concept, mental image in our mind. We fight. Not we fight, we fought, right? When we were very young, image in our mind. That is panyati, right? The name. Not only the name, but also concept in our mind, mental image in our mind. We have a lot of images of those persons, right? Then ill will or hatred naturally arises in our mind. So therefore, understanding ultimate reality is very important. If you just stop ultimate truth, it's dangerous, right? It will lead to a lot of sufferings. Just like here, right? Just like here. Another example. When we aware just the sound is material form. The sound set up, right? Set up is material form. It really exists. If we just aware the sound, paramata, any kind of negative emotion will not arise. Because we just aware, we have mindfulness, right? So we have to meditate. Meditation means to develop mindfulness. So if you are mindful, just hear the sound, right? Even though it is somebody is talking about someone who you hate, you just hear, you just aware of the sound, but no negative emotion will arise. So therefore, to see and understand ultimate reality is very important. So therefore, the Buddha teach 4 foundations of mindfulness. 4 foundations of mindfulness are the ultimate realities. The body, right? Actually, the sound is the body. The sound is the body, right? Because it's connected with the body. Sorry, the sound is the the Dhamma phenomena. Phenomena is included in the 5 aggregate, right? 5 aggregate. So therefore, you can see here, if we just stop at the conventional level, it leads to negative emotions. So if we just aware, just sound, right? Then no negative emotion will arise. Understanding ultimate reality is very important, right? Another one, we have a one sutta called Bahiya. This one is very famous sutta. I think I don't know whether you've heard of this one. This one, Bahiya, is from southern India. Southern India and Savatthi is very far, right? 200 or 300 kilometers. And he heard there is the Buddha in Savatthi. He came from that area on foot. And by that time he arrived Savatthi, he's very tired. But he went to see the Buddha, he went to hear the Dhamma. So therefore, By that time, the Buddha was on Armstrong. The Buddha is going on Armstrong. Then he go there and he talked to the Buddha. The Buddha, I want to hear the Dhamma. Actually, the Buddha knows that it's very tiring. He's tired at the time. Even he talked to him at the time, he may not have concentration. The Buddha said, here is not the right time to teach the Dhamma. I am wrong, right? On Anapana. The second time, Bhaya said that, I want to hear the Dhamma. The Buddha said, it is not right time. And third time, this kind said that, Buddha, I do not know when I will die. I do not know when you will die. I want to hear the Dhamma. Very eager, right? So too eager to listen to the Dhamma. Therefore, the Buddha wait the timing, a good timing. At that time, the Buddha knows that now he is the right time to teach Dhamma. And the Buddha said this one. Here in Bahia, you should train yourself in the sea where we merely what is sea. Date, data, matter, bhavesati is very famous sutras. Actually, we have to apply in meditations. So this sutta we can find in two places. For this guy, another one is called Malucha Buddha. I don't know whether you have heard of the name, Malucha Buddha. He became a man when he was very old. And he also went to hear the Dhamma, and he said that, the Buddha, I am very old. I don't know what time I will die. So I went to hear a very short sermon to practice the Dhamma, to practice meditation. And the Buddha gave this one. So here, it's talking about ultimate realities. Here by here, you should train yourself in the sea where we merely what is sea. So when you see, just see. Do not continue. Suppose normally when we see somebody, and we do not stop at the seeing, and we have a lot of perception and mental image. He have done something to me, right? Mental image in our mind. So conventional truth. We are not stopping at the ultimate reality. We continue convenient names and terms, concept or mental image in our mind. So he have done something to me last year, yesterday, then anger arises, right? So like this. So here in this sutta, if you see something or somebody, just be mindful that, just see it. Stop that, right? When you are listening, when somebody is talking, just talking. When in here, the heart will be merely what is heart. Actually, the translation is sometimes a little bit weird. Actually, in Pali is very beautiful. Date, data matter, sute, sutta matter. So just merely what is heart. So therefore, when you meditate, so you have to be mindful in breath and out breath, right? Just that. Do not think about whether this breath is pleasant or unpleasant like this. No, not thinking. Just what is how you feel it, right? How you feel it. Also, when you see something, just merely what is see. Do not continue, right? Actually, it's talking about higher level of meditation, right? Higher level of meditation. So just stop at the ultimate reality level. When you hear something, the sound is ultimate realities. Just stop it. Do not think about other things, right? If you think other things, there will be a lot of conventional truth, a lot of names and a lot of concepts in your mind. So in that way, negative emotion likely to arise. In the saint, will be merely what is sensed. In the cognized will be merely what is cognized. In this way, you should train yourself here. So here, it's important to have ultimate realities. So we have a lot of problem, a lot of suffering because of conventional truth, right? So we have a lot of mental image in our mind. So in this way, a lot of negative emotions coming. I think that is different between ultimate realities and conventional truths. Two truths in Abhidhamma. So conventional truths doesn't really exist. Just our mind created it, right? So because of that, based on those conventional truths, then we have a lot of sufferings. But if we just stop at the ultimate level, ultimate realities, then we have the there will be no negative emotion at all, right? So therefore, meditation also, the aim of meditation is to see ultimate realities, right? To see ultimate reality. Thereby, so there will be no attachment at all, no craving at all. And the aim of Satipatthana Sutta also to see another, to see ultimate realities. If you just see ultimate realities, no attachment or no craving at all, right? So therefore, to understand ultimate reality is very important. So here, I want to clarify again two extremes. Two extremes. One, some people may say that without understanding Abhidhamma, you cannot meditate. That's also wrong. That's also wrong. Because some people do not even know the word Abhidhamma. They can still meditate, right? But of course, some people may think that we don't need to learn Abhidhamma. It is nonsense. It's also two extremes, right? Two extremes. Because Abhidhamma, the aim of Abhidhamma is to try to analyze ultimate realities, trying to know about the mind, the mental factor, and material phenomena and Nibbana, right? These are good things, right? These are good things. So if you see the real, the ultimate realities, there will be no craving. If no craving, Nibbana, right? But now what I mean is, this is the ultimate aim, right? But when we learn Abhidhamma, we are not learning that one, only that one. So we also learn step by step, just like what is good things, what is bad things, right? So even craving, we have a different level of craving. So what are these, right? So we will learn about that. And we have a 4 planes of consciousness. I think we will learn next week. I think we will. Now time is at 4 o'clock. Then question and answer time, Q&A time. So any question, especially about the ultimate realities?
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
Earlier, you were saying that there are 4 types of ultimate realities, which are body, feeling.
Can you say it beyond to?
But earlier you mentioned that the ultimate truth there are 4 types.
Okay.
From the Satipatthana Sutta.
Okay.
Body, feeling, mind, and
Phenomena, yeah.
And here there is, you state there are 4 types of ultimate truth,
Okay.
which is Citta,
Cetasika.
Cetasika, Rupa,
Okay.
and Anapana. So I just want to know what's the link. Is there
What is the link?
a link?
Four foundations of mindfulness. The body, right? The body, feeling, Citta, and Dhamma. Dhamma means mental phenomena, right? the four ultimate realities. So we have to, the Buddha gave mindfulness of breathing. The establishment of mindfulness based on four ultimate realities. But we have in Abhidhamma, we have Citta, Cittasika, Rupa, Nibbana, right? Actually, Nibbana, when we meditate, we can also use Nibbana as the object, right? As the object. The link is the four foundations of mindfulness. The first one is what? The first one is Kaya, the body, right? The body. The body and Rupa are the same. Body and Rupa are the same. So at the same time, in the Dhamma phenomena, we can also meditate on the body as well, the Rupa as well, right? So that means in the Dhamma phenomena, in the Satipatthana, we can also say is also including the Rupa material form, link, right? Link. And feeling is mental factor. The second four foundations is feeling. Feeling is mental factor, Cittasika, right? The Citta is actually according to Abhidhamma, Citta is just awareness of the object. So that is equal to Citta. Citta and Cittanupassana are equal. But when we learn Satipatthana Sutta, we also know that the word Citta indicate not only consciousness, but also any other mental factor as well. In the Cittanupassana is mentioned Raga, Dosa, Moha. Actually in Abhidhamma, all these are Cittasika, right? Cittasika. Even though the Buddha used the word Citta, the Sutta clarify, Loba, Dosa, Moha, Raga, Dosa, Moha, like this. All these are mental factors according to Abhidhamma. So I just a little bit, how to say, interwoven. In Satipatthana Sutta, Cittanupassana, even though the word Citta is not purely consciousness, it is a combination of consciousness as also mental factor, right? So therefore, we cannot say, how to say, they are the same. But I just want to point out, in the four foundations of mindfulness also talk about ultimate realities. They are realities. So when we compare all these one, both are explaining ultimate realities, right? Connecting each other. So ultimate reality means they have their characteristics. They doesn't change from their perspective. Raga, lust, right? They have their own characteristics. They cling to the object. That is their characteristics. So that doesn't change. It occurred to me, and it occurred to you, it occurred to anime. The same characteristics. So therefore it is called ultimate realities, right? So what I want to pinpoint is the teaching in Abhidhamma Pitaka, teachings in Sutta Pitaka, they're the same. But the way of clarifying, right? The way they present, different. I hope. Question? Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. Just now you mentioned the four ultimate truths, the four ultimate realities. Can you please explain what's the connection with the impermanence?
Sorry?
Impermanence.
Yeah.
Impermanence. Because we know that three characteristics.
Can you use microphone a little bit? Yeah.
Characteristics, like one of them is impermanence. All phenomena
Thank you for your question. Actually, every phenomena, condition, not every phenomena, condition phenomena, except Nibbana, everything is impermanent, right? Impermanence. So he just want to ask, every phenomena, condition phenomena are impermanent. But we said that ultimate reality doesn't change. It looks like permanence. So I'm not saying like this. Doesn't change from their perspective. Wherever it happened to the person, or wherever and whenever. The nature of lobha is craving, right? Trying to attach, trying to cling to the object. It happened to me, it happened to you. It happened to the person at the time of the Buddha. The characteristic of clinging, attachment, the same, right? So doesn't change me, doesn't change from that perspective. Of course, if the clinging or lobha arises to me, it arises, disappear, arise, disappear. It's going like this. It's impermanent, but doesn't change me from their perspective. Right? Okay. Question?
Shadow. Shadow, can you please?
Maybe I'm good.
Shadow, can you please explain to me why the Satipatthana Sutta did not mention samadhi, only in the commentary and sub-commentary? And what are the differences of the usage of samadhi in the commentary?
Actually, it's nothing to do with Abhidhamma. So that Satipatthana Sutta doesn't mention samadhi, right? Actually, Satipatthana Sutta mentions sati, samasati, right? Samasati. Of course, you're right. But of course, when we learn about Dhammanupassana, and we can find samadhi as well, right? Samadhi as well. In the 7 factors of enlightenment, there is samadhi, right? Samadhi. But actually, the sutta actually mentions sati, mindfulness, right? Mindfulness. Okay, question? Any question? I think that to know about two truths is a little bit difficult, right? Difficult. I think next week onward, I think it will be very easy. So I'm trying to use these simple terms, and I'm trying to relate with our daily life, right? So I think for today's lesson, a little bit very deep and also difficult to understand, right? I think no questions, then we will close our lessons today.
Just one announcement, just to remind that the Dhamma talk on this coming Monday, 7:30 to 9:30 in this hall. The talk is Balance in the Dhamma Journey by Sister Sylvia Bay. And the following Monday will be another talk by Monday Ratana Sala from Sri Lankaramaya Buddhist Temple in St. Michael Road. The topic of the talk is why do we need merits? So you are all welcome for the talk. Thank you. Okay, let's put our palms together.
Oh, I didn't. forgot to.
Because a lot of people meditate for sati and samadhi.